Oceanic Flight 420 is moving to York with 97 minutes of fuel remaining. The pilots communicate to the passengers the weather conditions and the tender turbulence they may experience as later on. 5 hijackers attack the plane, kill all the flight attendants, some passengers and pilots. They then take over the plane and restrict the passengers' movement. Since they don't know much about flying the plane, they experience heavy turbulence and some technical faults, endangering the lives of the passengers on board. The National Security Agency receives information about the plane's current state when its fuel time reaches 77 minutes. Hawkins, the Director of Operations, makes an appearance at the agency to take charge of the problem. The hijackers disengage the failsafe, which automatically flies the plane and helps it land at the nearest airport. In this situation, the hijackers can't fly the plane and the National Security Agency can't take charge of it, meaning that the plane will eventually crash. Toyin placed a secret agent on the plane before it took off, so once in a while, he gives signals to the National Security Agency. Back in the plane, the secret agent wakes up and finds his listening device. He puts it back on, and on his way he meets a boy named Samuel who is looking for his dad. His dad is the pilot and he has been shot. They find him struggling to breathe. Alex, the secret agent, assures Samuel everything will be fine and makes him put his hand on his father's wound to prevent more blood from oozing out. He hides his listening device and goes round pretending to be one of the hijackers. When he finds the medical kit, he instructs one passenger to find him someone with a medical background. He goes around and finds Kim, a doctor who is willing to help them out. At the agency, they find out that the hijackers are NSA's. Hawkins then requests for the hijackers' ID and orders a cold orange scramble. Toyin tries to get him to change his mind about the cold orange because they already have a secret agent inside who can feed him with information, but he stands his ground. In the plane, the doctor arrives and starts attending to the pilot. When she leaves to get water, one of the hijackers gets hold of her, but she is set free when the secret agent intervenes and tells his fellow that she is a doctor and they need her to keep the pilot alive. He then tells Kim to keep the pilot alive and report anything that comes up to him only. They hear a phone ringing and go around collecting everyone's phone. One of the hijackers finds Samuel with a ringing phone and crushes it. The secret agent takes Kim to the restroom and reveals his true identity to her. One hijacker hears them and he attacks the hijacker. He fights back, kills him and puts his body in a locker. He kisses his shrapnel that belonged to his son. Kim tries to know more about his son, but he tells her they need to go and save the pilot. When they get to the pilot, Kim instructs Alex to get her blankets, towels and bandages. Immediately he leaves. Kim tells the pilot and his son Alex's true identity so that he can trust him. When Alex returns and finds out Kim has told him, he warns her not to tell anyone else because the more people get to know about this, it will put their lives in danger. The pressure in the cabin of the plane begins to rise. It becomes so strong that it folds the metal plates in the cabin and breaks the windows. This situation gives the passengers a headache and some even start to bleed from their nose. Alex goes checking what's wrong. The normal cabin pressure is supposed to be 9 psi, but it now is 15 psi and it keeps going high. Alex needs help from the pilot about what to do to reduce the cabin pressure. He pressured Kim to do something to wake him up, but she is scared when she does that he'll die. Alex then explains to her that if they don't wake the pilot up they will all die. Hearing that, she quickly collects medicines from the passengers and injects the pilot with the ones that will wake him up. After giving him the first 2, he wakes up but couldn't give them the information they need, so Alex orders her to add another one. The pressure is still rising, so Kim has no choice than to inject him again. After showing Alex what to do, he begs him to save Samuel. Alex locates the valve, switches it from manual to automatic and turns the cabin's pressure back to normal. However, the pilot dies. Samuel grieves and blames Alex for his father's death. Alex doesn't say anything. He goes to the washroom, angry at himself, and punches the mirror. Kim goes after him and dresses his wound. She tells Alex the reason she quit her job, and he also confides in her and tells her about his son. Alex then hands Kim one of the hijackers' guns to protect herself and brief the National Security Agency on their current situation. Hawkins decides to take control of the plane remotely within 10 minutes. Kim goes to check up on Samuel. She hugs her tight, assuring him that everything will be fine and puts him in a locker. The other hijackers ask of the hijacker Alex killed, but he claims he hasn't set eyes on him. At the agency, Toyin instructs Isker to give Alex signals, using white noise to inform him about the incoming missiles. Against Hawkins' orders, Alex gets the signals and acts fast. He manages to swerve the first missile. The second missile fires, but it hits a different plane and it falls into the sea. Two of the hijackers enter the basement and bring out a safe with the inscription, NSA, with a nuclear weapon in it. Their plan is to crush the plane to activate the weapon and stir up a war between the Americans and the Russians. At the National Security Agency, they look at the footage of when the plane was being loaded, and they realize there is a nuclear weapon in the plane. They then call their men to abort their mission. Hawkins finds out about the white noise Toyin sent to Alex and interrogates her on why she did that. When she tries to explain herself, Hawkins reminds her of her position. Toyin has applied for Hawkins' position 5 times and has been rejected, but she still believes it will be hers one day. Hawkins then tells her how his daughter was kidnapped and beheaded on a live stream for some decisions he made. He goes back to his team and orders them to help Alex with installing a new failsafe. Toyin shows the IDs of the hijackers to Hawkins and he realizes it's slurries. Hawkins blew up a whole school accidentally, trying to avenge his daughter's death. Slurries' son was in that school, and now he is having his own revenge, the reason for this attack. The passengers unite and decide to bring the hijackers down. They kill Laika first and then Orca. Alex also stabs Marco and strangles Anan. Alex then gets to the cockpit where he'll be guided to install a new failsafe. He installs the failsafe successfully. Now he has to input the authorization code that will be sent to him so that they can land safely at a nearby airport. When he is given the code, he refuses to input the code and reveals himself to them as Slurries, Hawkins' enemy. Kim sees Marco moving and goes to him to offer help. She tells him he's lucky to be alive because all his fellow hijackers are dead. She tells him Alex, a secret agent, saved them from the hijackers. When he hears this, he tells Kim Alex isn't the secret agent but one of the hijackers is. Earlier in the plane, he lost his listening device which Alex found later and had direct contact with his enemies. He tricked them to believe him and used them to reach his goal. He then reveals a code on his arm to her, the code she will input to get into the cockpit and take over the plane. She builds up confidence and takes Marco's gun. Alex kisses his son's necklace and remembers how happy he was with him and the explosion Hawkins caused in his school that took all that joy away. Kim gets to the cockpit and smashes Alex's head with the gun. He survives it and goes after her. When Kim asks him why he killed all his people, he explains that he had to because when he found the listening device, he wasn't sure who amongst his men was the secret agent. Kim sobs knowing now that she helped Alex reach his goal. When Alex tries to take the gun from her, she shoots him. Samuel gets out of the locker, grabs a fire extinguisher and hits Alex with it when he tries to get back on his feet. Kim and Samuel then head to the cockpit and communicate with national security. They guide her to install the failsafe fully so they can take charge of the plane. This is accomplished, but then the remaining fuel isn't enough to help reach the nearest airport as decided by the National Security Agency. Alex wakes up again and offers to help them fly the plane to a nearby private airport before the fuel runs out. Kim doesn't trust his decision and makes Samuel point a gun in his direction just in case he goes overboard. Alex disengages the failsafe and puts the plane on manual. He teaches Kim what to do and she lands the plane successfully. At the National Security Agency, Toyin submits her 6th application to see if there is another rejection. The 6th is also rejected, but Hawkins however steps in and resigns his position as director. He congratulates Toyin and hands her his position for doing a good job.